What is going on? You are watching and listening to Tags Podcast. Actually, Tags Live. I wrote it wrong in my notes. Tags
Ooh.
Live. We are live, everybody. This is episode 374. We're live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time in front of our live virtual audience. I'm your host, Steve V, alongside Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. It's nice to see your beautiful face this evening.
Oh, thank you very much. It sounds very Australia, if you will.
Oh, I didn't go
Yeah,
ate my baby. Did it?
it must have. You must be transmitting a listener who wrote into us, and because
Oh,
you said that, I'm just going to read it really quick.
cute.
I forwarded you this email. I don't know if you saw it, but he
No,
says, "Thank you." CB wrote into us from Australia and says, "Thank you for keeping me connected with
I
the
did see this.
community. I live in a remote area, and I mean remote, and look forward each week to hearing from you both while doing my gardening." And by remote, he's in a remote area of Australia. He says, "It's the new Kodi connection I appreciate the most. Open, funny, and vulnerable. You two are gold. Keep it up." And he hopes to meet us one day when he comes to the US. We hope you come to the US as well. But I did email him back to wonder what remote part of Australia. I just love knowing those parts of the planet. It's one of
Me
my favorite
too.
things. I love travel. So
Me too.
it's,
I just
yeah.
hope he doesn't eat up my accent too much. I was like, oh, now, oh my
You
gosh,
may have
now.
ruined it. I know. I don't know.
And that's the
One
only phrase I know in Australian. So I'm
Oh, well, we need
sorry,
to
my
update
Australian
that.
partners.
CB, please update Kodi on newer sayings, I'm sure. Well, there is so much going on because it is Pride Month. Alan, who watches us currently, Alan W., says he was just at Ashbury Park, New Jersey Pride, which was awesome. Also, so was one of our Patreon members who usually joins us, Jin, who said that the same things. He had a great time at Asbury, excuse me, as I'm thinking of Ash, where I'm from, San Francisco,
Oh,
Asbury Park. Thank you very much. Not hate Ashbury, Asbury. Well, also a little known fact, this weekend I will be in Providence, Rhode Island for Providence Pride,
you're
joining
going?
our joining our co-host Cody, or excuse me, Jeremy Ross Lopez. It's so
Oh,
hard to keep. Yeah, Cody, Jeremy, and I
Jeremy.
will be there. And if you happen to be there, DM me at Tags Podcast and let me know. I would love to say hi to you. We will also be at Folsom East here in New York City, and Cody will be at that one with
That's right.
myself this weekend. And if you happen to be going to that, DM me at Tags Podcast on DM. We'll be in full leather regalia. Want to say hi and show our part for Pride Month. And lastly, in terms of announcements, on Tuesday, June 28th, we are doing our deeper conversation. I didn't check in with you, Cody. I hope that date works out for you.
Okay, that's perfect.
9 p.m. Eastern time. We might do 8:30. I'll let you guys know. We really get into some deeper conversations with our LGBTQ gay men right now, but we welcome all that listen to the show. And you can join the program by subscribing at patreon.com/tags podcast. And you can do it at the virgin level and above, and I will get you into our deeper conversation. The next one is Tuesday, June 28th. Don't miss it. All right. Well, we've got to get into hot topics. And the first one, I love a good follow-up, Cody. It
Me
is
too.
Pride Month, and you and Lincoln and I were talking about Burger King and the new Pride Whopper, which featured, if you remember on the episode, 2 top buns and 2 bottom buns. And I think Lincoln and I were here for it and thought it was really great. Well, sadly, like you, Cody, others did not like it so much for various reasons. We'll get into maybe some of the speculations because I didn't read a whole lot of why.
Okay.
But in this article that I captured, Burger King had to apologize for the Pride Whopper. And this was Burger King Austria, when it caused a stir on social media with its Pride Whopper campaign that didn't quite land as intended with the LGBTQ plus community. The agency behind it, Jung von Matt Donau, has
Okay.
apologized. The intended message of the Pride Whopper was to spread equal love and equal rights. The Austrian outpost of Germany based Jung von Matt stated on LinkedIn, quote, "Our strongest concern is if we offended members of the LGBTQ community with this campaign. If this is the case, we truly apologize." The Pride Whopper refers to a version of Burger King's signature burger with a curious twist. Each order is served with either 2 sesame coated top buns or 2 flat bottom buns. Ooh, flat? Who wants 2 flat bottoms? I mean, we'll take them. A Burger King spokesperson told the
Want to
ad
bubble butt top.
age, yeah, you better you better put some extra dough in those bottom buns. Anyways, I mean, in reading some of the comments where I got this article from, because it was a repost, somebody wrote, "How are they going to represent lesbians? Turn the burger
Oh.
sideways and interlock the pickles?" I
Oh
think that's
my God. I
and
just got the visual and
yeah, there was some other ones too. I'm not sure, Kodi. You ended up being the right on this because you didn't like
no.
the campaign. And why didn't you like it? And why do you think people didn't like it? Was it just too gay centric and
So
silly?
I don't think it is a right or wrong thing. I think that you have your point of view and I have my point of view, and we're both allowed them, and we're both,
I
you
mean,
know.
I have no stake in this. I didn't create the campaign or anything. I just
Oh
thought it
my
was
good, you
I
did
thought it
it.
was I thought it was cute and fun. Two top button. I think it was like and lastly, before you let you go on,
Go
it
ahead.
just reminded me of Europe, how they push the boundaries with sex talk, and it somehow bleeds into mainstream culture more than it does here in the States.
Okay, I see what you're saying, and I just think that when I saw this, I just was like, I cannot believe that this is what we have devolved to: 2 top bun burgers and 2 bottom burgers, and that is how you reach out to our community. No, that's not here for me. A lot of people like me thought that it was pandering to the gay community and harmful stereotyping. Like, how do even 2 tops go together? I don't know if Burger King did their research like like
I mean,
Postmates did.
I think if you really break it down, it's silly for sure. I think it was just lighthearted, and I still go back to European sense and sensibility about humor, and it was just tongue in cheek and fun. And of course, everybody took it too seriously, and they had to apologize and scrap it. But that's how I feel about it. It's just people taking things too seriously, and it's not that big of a deal. I think it's kind of fun to, what can't we say then? What's appropriate and not appropriate comes to mind, and I think it's people should be a little concerned that we're too quick to jump on. This was not harmful to me in any way. But
And I
what?
understand that, and I hear you. And I, at the end of the day, like, what are we even arguing about? Fucking oops, burgers.
Right.
Who cares at the end of the day? And what's more important to me is Burger King doing the right thing as far as supporting our community and giving back to the community. That they're actually taking. They did this so that the gay community would come and buy a Whopper. So, like, are they putting back into that community? I think that I read somewhere that maybe some of the proceeds from the bottom burgers and the top burgers should have went to somebody's gay like the Ali Forney Center, like things of that nature. So I think that that is one way of thinking about it.
Yeah, I guess. Absolutely. It's only a month long, Pride Month. So, what's it really? I mean, they could do a small percentage. So, fair enough. Anyway, you're not going to get that double top, double bottom burger. I wish I lived in Austria. I would go get it. But,
Well, you can
well,
still do it. You can go buy 2 burgers and then you can do it yourself.
yeah, no, I'm not eating at Burger King anyways. days. It is not on my menu. Well, we've got to move
No?
on. No, we've got to move on to more Hollywood, or to Hollywood news, as I'm calling it.
Ooh.
We got some great stories for you that I want to just tick through, as Ryan Gosling is going to be Ken from Barbie in the upcoming Barbie movie, and we want to know what you think about it, live virtual audience. Greta Gerwig is directing the movie, and she did Lady Bird. If you saw that, I really liked Lady Bird. I thought it was really good. It's also casting Margot Robbie, who's playing Barbie. But like I said, Ryan Gosling will be Ken in the new flick,
Okay.
and I want to know what you think about it. Do you think this is good casting? In one of Straight Up Gay Porn's reposting of it, and they always have somewhat of a negative slant on it, they thought that casting was a little bit old, skewed a little bit old for
Oh,
Ken, as Ryan Gosling is 41. Won't say what they said about him. I think he looks really good. He's really super blonde. I'll post this on TAGSPodcast.com. Cody, can you put it in the chat
already
so
did.
that people can see it? Great. I think if we wanted to go a little bit younger, we could have gone with Zac Efron, who I think would make a great Ken. But, one of the things they said is Ryan is too muscly in this picture, and
What? When is that a bad thing?
well, they said not that it's a bad thing, but the doll apparently wasn't as muscular as this. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's fine. I think Ryan Gosling looks really cute and sexy, and I love him. So I think that this is just fine casting. If you ask me, that you sent me a picture of Magic Earring Barbie or Magic Earring Ken or what have you, and I think he looks exactly like that Ken, honestly. I don't think he's too old. I think that maybe if you were gonna go for someone younger, a Zac Efron would be, or might be a more apt fit, but I think it's fine. Who cares at the end of the day? It Ryan Gosling is an amazing actor, and I think that he'll do a great job.
Yeah, I sent you the picture of Earring Magic Barbie. There was a whole line of dolls, and there was a Earring Magic Ken doll that came out back by Mattel in 1992, in response when they asked little girls, because for whatever reason, when they were doing groups of young girls to find out what they thought of Ken, he wasn't really responding well to young girls. So they thought he needed to be cooler and look a little bit more up to date. Now, mind you, this was the early 90s. This was my area in the early 90s. And there's a great picture of him. I don't know if you have that, but Earring Magic Barbie Ken doll has a one earring on his left ear, a purple vest, biker jacket, sleeveless, a ring on a chain that definitely everybody thought looked like a huge cock ring. More blonde highlights than the original Ken doll.
Does Ken have
And
a cock? I don't know. I know Ryan Gosling has one, but I don't know
he's
if
got a
Ken.
bulge. He's definitely got a bulge in the original doll. But it was so funny in this early 90s depiction that some people are saying Ryan Gosling looks a lot more like this iteration of the gay
Yeah, I
version
think
of
so too.
him, a little blonder. And yeah, it's just funny. What were your thoughts on that? The 90s
I love
version of
it.
it?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I those can have sex with the other Ken dolls, like Army Ken and GI Joe and all things of that nature. With my when my sister was out at school or something, I was in there making them kiss and everything else.
Ooh,
And I was chewing on
nice.
their feet too, which is probably foreshadowing for my later life.
Oh,
So.
that is hilarious. They say a lot of our fetishes and things we become fixated on are all linked to our early childhood. So,
I think
yeah.
it's true in my case. A lot of
Yeah.
them.
Are you chewing on Joe's feet these days?
I sure am.
Yeah.
He's like, get off of those things. I'm trying to sleep. No.
I love it. Also in Hollywood news, Tom Hanks says he wouldn't play a gay role in a version of Philadelphia today. Hanks says that let's address, could a straight man do what I did in Philadelphia now? No, and rightly so. Hanks recently told the New York Times Magazine the whole point of Philadelphia was don't be afraid. One of the reasons people weren't afraid of that movie is that I was playing a gay man. We're beyond that now, and I don't think people would accept the inauthenticity of a straight guy playing a gay guy.
Wow.
It's not a crime. It's not a boohoo that someone would say we are going to demand more of a movie in modern era of authenticity, Hank added. And then he added this great line, do I sound like I'm preaching? I don't mean to. So cute.
He is so cute.
Yeah, no, I agree with him. I don't know that anybody else could have played it back in the day. We talk a lot about it on this show on straight men playing gay, and really we need to open more roles up to a wider audience. And I think he did such a brilliant job, as did
All right.
Antonio Banderas playing his lover. And both of them are straight men, but I don't know that there would have been any other gay actors, gay actors
There
at the
were none.
time
Yeah.
that would have played this. That's
It's a
why
career killer.
we talked about it as Brokeback Mountain the other day. Same
Yeah.
thing, a little bit later, but not that much later, where there weren't that many actors willing to come out and say, yeah, I'll play that now. We're going to talk about another actor in a little while, John Sibilly,
Mhm.
who is proud to be a queer man of color and only wanting to play men of color that are queer in all of his roles, and is getting the roles now. So times have definitely changed. What did you think when you heard this about Tom Hanks and what he was saying?
I love Tom Hanks. He's just so thoughtful and
Yeah.
wonderful. And I just remember him in Philadelphia and being so enraptured with his performance. I'm just so glad he's being honest
Yeah.
about how things were for gay people in the industry back then and in general, and the state of events now and how they're different now. So we need to change our views on representation and how playing these parts is really affecting people in the real world, not just actors and actresses and things of this nature. It's like reaching out to kids in middle America that are struggling to come out. I personally think that my view on if gay actors should play gay roles has kind of expanded a little bit after hearing. Have you heard about the show Heartstopper? I know I mentioned it to you earlier. Did
I
you?
have not, but other than from you.
Yeah. So on that one, there's a controversy that is going on about one of the leads. His name is. I don't have it right here. I did look it up, and I.
That's okay.
Yeah, and I think that people are lambasting him because he wouldn't come out or say that he is any comments on his general. So he people are kind of going in on him, and I think that it's not fair that sexuality is a spectrum and it's ever evolving. So you don't necessarily have to come out or even know what your sexuality is when you're playing these parts, as long as you're offering an authenticity and respect to the characters that you're portraying. His name is Kit Connor.
And let's not forget that Tom Hanks and Antonio Banderas did such an amazing job of portraying a person with AIDS and the lover that is with them and what that does to a relationship. And they are not gay men, but they did such a deep portrayal that really you felt. I mean, I'm sure you felt that too, Cody, when you
Oh
saw the
yeah.
movie. Yeah, it was so
And
good.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
So you when you brought up Brokeback Mountain, I was like, man, because I feel like that could have been played by a lot of people, and I feel like more that should have been an opportunity for gay men to play. But
No, but again, it's not
Philadelphia,
that none of these, the point isn't whether gay men could play these roles. The
mhm,
point is the timing where there weren't a lot of out gay actors willing to be out to play. Yes, of course, there's talented actors. We're seeing them now. John Sibilly and many others are examples of gay actors that, of course, there's really talent out there in the LGBTQ plus world. However, they weren't allowed to be out. And now,
Mhm.
even in Brokeback Mountain period, there wasn't that many out actors to really play these characters. So I think they did a great job as well. And now we're starting to see, like what Tom Hanks is, this is the whole point of the story. Tom Hanks is saying now it wouldn't work today for me to play one of these characters. It would be inauthentic now. There's so many great actors that can play it. It's a different time period. So I just think that that's really important to remember the time frame that we're talking about.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying, but I don't know if I completely agree. I think that there were out actors that could have probably played both of those parts, or at least one of them. But I do think that I don't know. I can't think of any other actors that could play that I can think of in that time period that could have played that Tom Hanks character in Philadelphia.
Yeah, or that would have been out and open. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what year Brokeback Mountain came out. Early 2000s.
I can Google it really quick.
You do that while I move on,
Okay.
because Tom Hanks also, the movie that we're talking about, Philadelphia Story, I really wanted to connect this story. The Federal AIDS Policy Project Coalition and Prep for All have sent a letter signed by 100 organizers urging the House and Senate Appropriations Committee to approve $400 million to fund a national PrEP program within the CDC. While this is a far shot of the 9.8 billion over 10 years that President Joe Biden called for in the fiscal year 2023 budget, it's a meaningful start and something that HIV/AIDS advocates believe can be accomplished this year. And I think this is really important. PrEP for all, particularly for certain marginalized groups that still don't have access to healthcare where you often get your PrEP, don't have access to many of the agencies and hospitals that are free here in
Mhm.
major cities like New York that aren't in other smaller cities around the country, marginalized groups. And so I just think this is a really good policy that I wanted to prep for all, that I'm really glad the Federal AIDS Policy Project Coalition is really pushing for 400 million to fund this, which is really great, because we just need to, like the movie Philadelphia Story, we need to end people getting HIV in 2022 and beyond. People should not be, and it's always our marginalized groups that get infected with it. So I just wanted to say that and put that out there. What were you going to say,
That's am
Kodi, though?
that's amazing. First and foremost, I think that President Joe Biden, I was asking for him to do more, and this is more. So thank you so much. But also, I Brokeback Mountain came out in 2005.
Okay,
So
got
I
it.
can think of a
Still,
couple people, but it's still early. Like I see what you're saying. I think
and
it's
I think they did an amazing job, those two. And rest in peace, Heath Ledger. You can disagree if you didn't like it, but
oh.
anyways, let's move on unless there's people saying anything. Kodi,
um
I'm not looking at the screen. I'm looking at
They are
my
saying Hank was
notes.
such a twink in those days. I saying that he's such an amazing actor still now. Um, Alan said there weren't as many out actors as then, and I agree. And El Rey says his son plays a Jamaican.
Oh, Tom Hanks's?
You know
Yes.
about Chet Hanks? He
I
is
do.
he's a piece of work, honey. I tell
It's
you.
just Google Tom
Just
Hanks's
Google.
son.
We're not gonna go into it because we
We are
could
not
talk
going to
all
go into it.
night.
We do not have time for that. What we do have time for is talking about this OnlyFans creator that goes by David C. And he began his OnlyFans on Boxing Day last year after asking his Instagram followers whether he should start one or not. And while he's enjoying the ride, he does explain that adult content creation isn't without its faults. So get this, and then we will discuss. It's
Okay.
actually, quote, it's actually a fair bit of work. I initially thought it would be easy to churn out some content and just take some pictures, but I found out rather quickly that it takes a lot of marketing, idea brainstorming, talking to other guys, matching calendars, and being your own customer service rep. So you'd be wearing more hats than just top or bottom, he adds. And I think a lot of
Mhm.
people also don't realize that you don't make a shit ton of money immediately.
Mm.
Takes a while. On top of that, he goes on, which I love. He's on a rampage. I love this insider side that he's giving us.
Oh,
On top
yeah.
of that, there's no
Give
sick
a tip off.
pay. He adds, there's no sick pay. So David feels the need to ask his fans to be patient while he goes in for surgery on his shoulders this week,
Oh,
but there
no.
will be plenty of one-handed solo content in a sling coming your way. He laughs. Oh, that reminds me. I feel for him for my broken ankle.
Yeah.
He he says that I was trying to find the part where it's a long article. There's so much to discuss. His advice to young gay considering starting your OnlyFans: you have to really want to do it, and you shouldn't do it for if you're going to do it half ass. Understand that it's not going to be your main source of income, at least for a while, and you get out exactly how much you put in. He gives a lot of great advice. Yes, it's daunting to have your nudes and videos available online, but I'm sure we've all sent 10 times more ourselves to people on Grindr.
Oh, my
And at the beginning
goodness.
of the article, he says nothing compares to organic sex, meaning all those things that he listed. There is
Mhm.
so much to unpack on here. It
Oh,
reminds me,
yeah.
though, Kodi, of I've had different people throughout the years. We are now in the middle of celebrating our fifth year anniversary of TAGSPodcast, of podcasting. And you don't go into podcasting, you don't go into OnlyFans, you don't go into a lot of artistic work for the initial onslaught of money, or for you do it because you're passionate about
Yeah.
what you're putting out there. We're passionate about podcasting and I mean all of what that entails. We do a production meeting, Kodi and I,
Yep.
before we do, to refine the topics that we talk to you on. You can see we even flub some of it, but we're a podcast, and that's built into the nature of podcasting. So give us a break. However, but
You're doing amazing, darling. We're
yeah,
doing
and
amazing.
yeah, no, but I'm just saying we do production work. We do go through all the topics, and I've coached people in podcasting throughout the
Mhm.
years, and a lot of them ended up not doing it because I think they thought, oh, I could do a podcast. Like, it wouldn't be so fun and easy. And it's not just a matter of flipping on the mic and there you go.
And talking, like,
There's
that's ridiculous to think you can just go on and just talk and that you're gonna have a stream of consciousness that is going to be open and for people to follow immediately. I think that that's very naive of people, and once they see how much work goes into it, then I agree with you, a lot of people drop out. What were you gonna say? I'm so sorry.
No, I love that. With your, I totally agree with you. I think that the other thing about OnlyFans that I can relate to is,
Mhm,
we've changed the show throughout the years. We used to do interview after interview. Every show had a special guest in the early days.
mhm.
And like what David C is saying, most of his work is based on the partners that he finds to create sexy content. Yes, he can do some solo work. He will be doing it with a sling on, not the sling that we all like, but for his arm.
'Cause that's
And
where
he
my
will.
mind went immediately.
I did too. Not that kind of sling. We will be wearing slings this Sunday if you come to Folsom East here in New York City on
Hey.
Christopher Street. However,
One
I
of us
think
might be in a sling.
okay, I will be. But the thing of it all is we changed it to more hot topics and sharing our own stories. And once in a while, we still have a special guest on. But just like David C is saying, it's a lot of work to calendar out and find the guests, the special guests, or the partners that you're going to have do this, and where are we going to do it, and
Yeah.
does this time work? All of that, just as you can imagine, takes time and works with people's schedules, and oftentimes you're dealing with flaky people that
Ooh,
cancel on you, and then you're out.
ooh.
I'm saying David C is out a
No, I
partner,
get you.
or
Yeah,
we're
I
out
hear you.
guests. And so that's why I think you have to really think about really what you're doing and what is sustainable. But Yeah, I think he's really open about it. What were your other thoughts about this before we read some comments?
I agree with everything. I think, yes, it's fun, but at the end of the day, it's work. Just like sex, it's fun, but at the end of the day, he said in the article, him and another partner, I think it was Rogan Richards, they had sex for hours. Can you imagine having to have sex for hours? That just is, I don't know, that especially if you're the bottom, that doesn't sound like pleasurable for me at hour 3. Like to know that that's your job and you have to do it. Um, I have such a passion for this, and I like podcasting with you. I wanted to start a podcast a long time ago with somebody, and I just never found the outlet. And I think our chemistry is amazing. But it is a lot of work to have to do 2 shows a week, a deeper conversation, like you said earlier, every month, and then like sporadic after shows. People don't like that. Takes a lot of planning. We don't just go on and just start talking and turn on the mics. I mean, sometimes we might, but for the after shows we do
for the after show.
But
Yeah,
you put a lot of work into the topics and how we're going to structure things, and I think that it's like people don't see what goes on behind the scenes, and I
and
think
let's not
it needs to be
forget,
talked about.
yeah, right. And
Go ahead.
let's not forget, many of the current OnlyFans that I follow oftentimes have multiple camera angles,
Yeah,
and it's not, and lighting is essential. So you can't just go into and some of them are like at hotel rooms, and then they're at this other spot in an island, and
writing
it's like the new,
scripts.
practically writing scripts. It depends. You have
Nah,
to find something that's sustainable that you can keep up, because you have fans want more, and I want Janet Jackson to have a new album coming out, and she's not ready to, but she's Janet Jackson, and at Janet Jackson's level, if you're starting OnlyFans, I just read this article on Janet Jackson, how she's not coming out with a new album anytime soon,
love
people.
her.
And we
Get it.
just gotta like bite the nail and just, okay, we love her and that's okay. If you're starting out on OnlyFans, you got to keep that content coming.
For
Well, what are
sure.
people saying? I read somebody asked us what was the question here? There is no doubt of your passion for the podcast. It's top shelf. Oh, thank you,
Oh, thank
LM.
you.
We weren't soliciting comments, but I appreciate that. Caladad asked the question: would either of you make an OnlyFans if you were in your early 20s? Why do we got to be in our early 20s?
I know I could do it right now, but it's too much work, Khalidad.
Well, I probably would. I think, although the same question. So I was a former in my early 20s. I was a go-go dancer. I talked about it a million different times on this program. I won't bore you with more of it right now, but I did do that. I also took a lot of photography, homoerotic photography
Mhm.
for various people, and it was fun. But at that time, there was no OnlyFans. What was around was porn. And
Okay.
what I would say for it, I guess the answer to that question is no, because I never took up any offer to do porn at the
Okay.
time. I don't know why. Because at the time, I know the answer. At the time, I wanted to be an actor. Speaking of actors,
Yeah.
and at that time, you couldn't be gay at all. We're talking mid 90s, 1998, when I finally moved to LA. And you couldn't. In fact, at 1998, I
Hmm.
gave up all dancing, all taking of pictures. I was had a management and all this stuff, and I was a totally different type of person in 1998 in LA. So I guess the answer is no, but I would be intrigued to do it, because I was not going to say it's easy, but I've gotten into production
Hmm.
in my that's part of what I do, and I think I could probably produce pretty good content and come up with a schedule.
And
Now, of
that'd be
course, now I don't
amazing.
want to do it, but or it's maybe a little late since I'm not in my early 20s.
No, you could do it. You look fabulous. Trust me.
There's
You
some
could.
daddies on there too. You just have to
No, you would be
market it. You
fantastic.
got to market it.
Yeah, I think you would do a wonderful OnlyFans.
No shade taken. Yeah.
I would follow, but I wouldn't watch. I would subscribe, but I wouldn't watch. Just because we're friends. So I'm like, I don't know about that. But for me, I don't think that I could do it because you have to be just about what we discussed already. You have to be so meticulous, and you have to. I'm a perfectionist already. You know the amount of prep work that I do for this show, and that would only translate to OnlyFans. So I
Yeah.
think that I would want to be coming up with new and different ideas and adding different the OnlyFans perspective and things of that nature. And I would want to be the best OnlyFans there is. So I think that would take too much work for me. And plus, I get camera shy. We all know that I can't have sex in front of the camera. Can you imagine? And this is like right out of left field. Can you imagine having to hold the camera in your hand and have sex at the same time? That is not in my fantasy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's work. It's a lot of work and planning, and you only have these models. I'm assuming some of them, they're paying these models and so on and so forth. It's just it's production. And so while it may be fun at moments in time of the production, because hopefully you love creating content, you have to be a content creator and be an entrepreneur
Yeah.
mindset is what I would say. And then you have to think of, what can I sustainably create, and what can I realistically create and be passionate about and do this, and what are my connect. You just got to do a lot of work
Yeah.
and be willing to evolve and change when maybe something isn't, you find a fork in the road and you got to like make a decision. Let's go in this direction now, and be willing, like the guy David C says, stay on it, because you're not going to immediately make a lot of money. Many people, it's a side gig. Hopefully you can get to a point, but then you got to keep that going too. But it's like you're running your own Netflix of
Yeah.
yourself, and you're the movie that has to continuously create new movies. Me in this picture now. Me in this picture now. Now I'm in this picture. I mean, it's always me.
And
So,
people, like for me, I feel like people would get bored of just me. And I guess that's my own insecurities
sweetie, I
talking.
wouldn't get bored of
Oh,
you.
thank you,
Hi,
darling.
with those titties.
Oh, these old things.
Who's gonna get tired of that? But you would probably have to evolve it, right? You
Yeah.
were gonna
And
do an OnlyFans with your boyfriend, weren't you? Is that still in the works?
so that was a secret one. So shh.
Okay, got
El Ray
it.
said, "Oh my God, get a room." And I said, "You want to be invited? Come on."
Join his OnlyFans. All right. I do want to read a comment that Kelly Dad wrote about our last story about PrEP for All. And he writes, they should provide mail order PrEP to preserve anonymity in rural US. And I agree with that. I think we're at a point now where we could end. It's not a pandemic. It's what was the HIV epidemic? Yeah,
Yes.
we could end it by providing it to everyone, and that should just be a blanket thing. I think for all.
Yeah.
So,
And a lot of the stigma along with it, because once you're on PrEP, a lot of the safety, like Tom Hanks was saying, a lot of the safety comes into play. So,
right.
yeah.
All right. Well, we've got to move on, and we're back to monkeypox. You think we talk about it a lot, but it's really affecting our community.
Okay.
And the only reason we bring it up because there's new updates to the story that we think that you should know about. I want to know about it. Mexican Health Agency issues a warning on a possible monkeypox transmission at a Puerto Vallarta gay beach club, which I've been to, the
I wonder which one.
Mantamar Beach Club. And I know, child, you've been there too. I've seen your ass dragging over there. The Ministry
I
of
won't tell you what I was doing.
When I was there, the pool is not that big. The
It's
pool,
not.
first of all, it's
But that's
really
okay.
it's cute. They got DJs. It's so funny, Cody, because it's got all that. It's on the beach. The pool is not that big, and when I was there, it was filled with gay men bobbing around, which was a lot of fun with cocktails in hand. There's a swim up bar, which is really cute. There's not really much room to put your stuff. In fact, there's no room to put your stuff. They really encourage you to get those beds and rent those
Cabanas.
beds that
Yeah.
are cabanas, which are quite expensive. So you almost have to come. I just recommend if you're going to it, you might not want to go after this story, but for a couple weeks.
Not the monkeypox.
Not the monkeypox. You might not want to go after this story, but if you do go in your Speedo already, because there's nowhere to put your stuff, and they're kind of drill sergeants about not putting stuff anywhere, and there's literally no room. They didn't build this thing like they should have to create lockers or whatever, just to kind of put a bag. If you're lucky, flirt with some guys that have the cabanas, which I did, and they'll let you like squeeze it down under, because of course you got to put your money somewhere to buy the cocktails, so you can bob around like everybody else in the pool. Well, the Ministry of Health for the Mexican state of Jalisco, I don't know if you knew that, but Puerto Vallarta is in the state of Jalisco, issued a warning over monkeypox aimed at anyone who visited the beach club last week. And in a statement posted in stilted English on the department's Facebook page Wednesday, June 8th, the department wrote, "In Jalisco, we have strengthened surveillance to detect monkeypox cases on time and help provide timely attention." The announcement included a graphic in English that advised anyone who attended parties at the Mantamar Beach Club between May 27th and June 4th, so we're talking about Memorial Day weekend, those who have exhibited symptoms to seek immediate medical help. It also went on that they found the guy that contracted it, who's from Dallas, who was originally in Berlin, Germany, May 12th through 16th. He returned home to Dallas before heading to Puerto Vallarta. We all know that monkeypox is more prevalent in Europe, and he was in Berlin, Cody, which a place I love, but it's known for some really hot gay sex. And then he had a layover back home, and then he went to Montemara, another hot gay sex destination, where he brought it. All we're saying is, because there's another story that I wanted to report on where Europe's monkeypox outbreak sparks fears and anti-LGBTQ backlash. The point of the article in the Gay Times, which is a UK-based website, is let's not just put the blame on the LGBTQ community and spark fear, but let's educate, because it is going around in our community, and let's make gay men aware, if you're sexually active, like I hope to be, that we hope that we can really combat this and make people aware and really look into their practices, not what you're doing in bed, but just be aware that there are people. Look for people with flu-like symptoms, look for rashes and stuff like that. And by all means, if you feel under the weather, we just are still dealing with COVID, stay out for a minute, get tested, buy one of those home kits for COVID, so you don't just keep proliferating this out into. I want to continue to having hot gay sex like everybody else, but we have to right now be really responsible, I think. What's your messaging and thoughts on this, Cody?
I agree. I think that we have to be vigilant as far as, because we have two things that are, we have more than that, but two things that are right in the forefront of our epidemic wise, what's going on with us, which are monkeypox and COVID. And I agree with you. I agree 100% with what you said. That if you don't feel, if you don't feel,
I know you can't read the comments because it'll throw you off.
I was talking. I was looking right at you.
And you sent me a text too in the middle of my thought process too, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I did what you. I did it though."
Yeah. But I think that if you don't feel well, I don't understand the disconnect of what's going on with people as far as if you don't feel well, stay home. Or if you
How are you going to go to Berlin and catch monkeypox, avoid all the symptoms, come back to Dallas to drop off some bags and clean your underwear, clean your jockstrap, and then head on over to PV where you're back in the pool at Montemar Beach Club.
No,
Motherfucker.
just spread it all around in the pool. That's you know what my mama
Dallas,
said.
Texas, motherfucker.
You don't get in the pool with all kinds of people. I don't
no
listen
shade to
all the time.
Dallas. I love you, but this motherfucker.
Yeah, no, it's kind of ridiculous, and I can't believe that that person didn't notice some of the symptoms and kind of take stock of where they were. That's what we need to be doing as human beings right now, to be kind and you know, uh what's the word I'm looking for? Just respectful to all of our other people by just making sure that you're taking care of yourself so that you can take care of other people.
Yeah, because they're also saying on certain, even if there was an advisory that said if you are get monkeypox, even afterwards, in this press statement of health authority said use a condom for 10 days after, even after you have no more symptoms, if you're going to have sex, because it can still, yeah, if you had monkeypox, you're not
Okay.
going to get monkeypox.
I mean, no,
but I love the advisory that it stated. I'm paraphrasing what it said. So,
Yeah.
audience, do not take exactly what I said. I will post this on TAGSPodcast, but I just remember reading something to that point. But
Mhm.
by all means, do not take my word for it on that one. We just want to bring it to your attention
Yes.
that as we all want to be sexually active right now, that just be a little bit aware of your body, those that you are engaging with during this period. Hopefully it's just a period of time. What are people saying before we move on?
El Ray says COVID, monkeypox is all too much. I'm most afraid. He's most afraid he's just going to jack off, I think is what he was saying.
No.
I know, right? Get a.
Oh, I'm almost afraid to jack off, he said.
Oh! That's hilarious.
Oh my God. We don't want to scare people. We're just reading the news here
Yes.
and having a conversation, which is what we need to be doing and not avoiding it. I think men too often, I was one of those men that didn't even want to see my doctor. I just avoided it. Now in my early 50s, I'm so open about my health and wellness and taking care of myself. But many men don't like to talk about health. And we just,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to talk about it. And that's never the way either.
You
But
got to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, who's going to take care of you? If you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else?
okay, exactly. RuPaul, I know. We need a Wendy Williams statement too, because it's her last day on Friday, and I'm so
Is it
sad.
really?
Yeah,
The show
she's not.
or
Yeah, the show. The show.
Oh no. Oh.
Right. Anyways, that's our update on monkeypox. The actor, you may know him. I know you know him, John Sibilly. Sibilly?
Yep, that's right.
Sibilly.
Mm-hmm.
Sibilly
Sibilly.
is talking about stories of being proud and being a queer man of color. In a recent Queerty interview, John Sibilly, I cannot say his name, Sibilly,
Neither
has
can
been
my
acting
other
for a
friend.
while
No.
now. It's like not the easiest, but I will try. He's been acting now for a while. Last year, he had been seen and achieved new success. He's Dominican and Cuban. He's in Hacks, you guys, which I love him in Hacks. He's in Queer as Folk currently on Peacock, which I'm going to start watching on my way to Providence, Rhode Island Pride. I figure, what better way to...
That's the time to kick it off.
Yeah, right. I'm just going to ride over there, watch it, and love it. I think it's going to be great. He's also in Pose, you guys. He had HIV. Yeah. Whose boyfriend was he? Wasn't he...
His boyfriend was fine. They broke up. I could send you the link.
But he was in Pose and dying of AIDS. He was an AIDS patient in it. anyways, so good. But he's really dedicated himself now in this article and his work to only taking queer roles. And he says this wasn't always the case, but now he's dedicated to only playing queer male characters. And I think, where have we come? Just to speak to the earlier topic
Mhm.
of Tom Hanks, here we are now at a point where a male actor like John can just take on only queer male roles and is doing so brilliantly.
Yeah.
He gives me life for that. I want to hear about what you think about that before we move on to our adjacent story to this topic.
I mean, I love this, and I love Johnny, and I think that he is so talented, and I think that he is really carving his niche. I don't know if you've seen some of his work from previously, but he does all of these characters, and yeah, I have to send you his Instagram. It's hilarious, and I can't wait to start watching Queer as Folk because I want to do everything I can to support him. And yeah, he can just keep doing what he's doing. And also I think that it's amazing that he is afforded the opportunity to just choose queer roles and spread that awareness of a queer person of color's perspective out there in the world and really tell our stories as authentically as possible.
So, well, it seems at times when we are taking 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, something like this is moving us forward.
Oh yeah.
We just proved it in this episode with the Tom Hanks story and where we were and where we are at now with that. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
that is a reason to take a deep breath and hallelujah it for our LGBTQ community on representation. Because, Kodi, if I had had this representation as a kid or when I was trying to be an actor in the 90s, I wish all my management told me,
Or
I've
the
told it on the show,
opportunities.
the opportunities. My management told me, butch it up. Essentially,
Yeah.
don't play gay. For crying out loud, stop going to the gay bars, change your voice, all kinds of things that were the opposite because there were no roles for this. And just, it makes me happy to see John now and actors of that sort, and to know that other gay actors or just gay representation, young gay men, young LGBTQ will see themselves in various
Oh yeah.
points, and it's only going to enlighten them. And want the whole point about pride is being yourself, as is this next Reddit thread that wrote, why to be proud for being gay? They write, hi everyone, I know that this month is our month when everyone is super duper proud to be LGBTQ plus, etc., but I actually was never proud of being gay. I feel like other people are more exceptional, so I asked myself, why should I feel proud for being gay? I feel less important, to be honest. Well, as you can
Aw.
imagine, people wrote various choice words, and I think I like this one, the response, the best. The original intent is lost in the choice of words. Not proud as in bragging about your accomplishments, but proud as in living without shame of who you are. The intent of Pride Month is to end stigma and to show the world that you accept yourself for who you are. The point is to be confident, although admittedly, some people are just obnoxious. Well stated by this person in response to somebody who was really questioning, I don't know what it really means to be gay or to be proud
Mhm.
for pride. And I guess I asked you the question, why are you proud, and has it evolved over the years?
Oh yeah. I used to feel so much shame back in the day when I was just a baby gay coming out. And because I feel like it was more because of my upbringing, but I feel so much pride and acceptance of my I think more of it has more to do with acceptance of myself more than anything, as far as maybe I'm not like the most talented person or the most I mean, I'm pretty damn talented. Thank
You
you.
are.
Thank you, dear. I saw
On
your
the
face.
spectrum, you're pretty high.
But I mean, or the most
I might just
intelligent
have you
person.
sing us out of this show just to prove how
Oh no,
talented.
this man be. No.
Okay, Natalie.
They came right to my.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love that song. Anyway, so yeah, I think that you got my point. I think that having pride in who you are, has so many facets to it, and I think that mine comes from being proud of who I am and making sure that it's put out there that this is who I am. You don't have to accept me, but you have to respect me. And I think that I'm going to let you know, because if that's going to be a problem, then we need to have this discussion now, and we need to hash it out, or we need to not engage with one another. And I think that that's where my sense of pride comes from.
And the most important thing I think also to remember is that Pride Month, it comes every year, and it's important that it comes every year. I can remember the very first Pride I ever had in San Francisco, California, where I was so scared, but I had some really wonderful gay elders take me under their wing and introduce me to the Pride Parade. And I was wide-eyed, and I was so proud to be amongst what I knew was my people.
Mm-hmm.
Then you cut to throughout the years, I've had years where I just went to dance events
Yeah.
where it was still prideful, but maybe not as proud. And I'm kind of back to then I had a year where I came out to my mom about 4 years ago. She's in her 80s, and I didn't think I
Yeah.
needed to, but I came out to her. I talked about it on the show before, but now I can talk to my mom about Fire Island, the movie, which she knew Margaret
Oh,
Cho was
yay.
in. We can
I
talk
love that.
about, yeah. And so we're talking, and this year in particular, because of COVID and everything, and things are opening up, I decided, a friend of mine, he didn't know he did this to me, but
Okay.
he said, oh yeah, there's all these parties, this and that, but to me pride is about going to a comedy event, going to this, going to that, going to this. He listed and I was like, oh my god, you were so right. So as a result, I'm starting Pride Week by going to Providence by myself to meet our other co-host Jeremy.
I wanted
I'm
to
going to
go.
see a queer artist. You guys, I'm going to see a queer artist by myself, Yumi, who she's 20 years old and I love her voice, in Brooklyn. I'm just going to go because it's happening during Pride. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to another event. I'm just going to do all these experiences that are all prideful and giving me
Yes.
life. And I'm just going to do them and live life like it's 1999. But
Hey.
yeah, and I'm just going to do all these
They say.
things, not just park myself at one place, or I know there's all these great parties. I don't want to spend like hundreds of dollars, although I've done that before. I just think there's all kinds of ways to be prideful, and it
100%.
will evolve every year because you evolve every year. What are the people saying before we
Ooh,
move on?
get into it, girl. Yes.
Yeah.
um, so, do we want to read the Wendy Williams one? I'll read it anyway. Well, Callie Dad says Wells Fargo did Wendy Williams dirty, put her in guardianship because she thought that Wells and her manager were stealing money. Allegedly. We have to say allegedly on this show. We do not want to get sued. Alan says he's so here for the Queer as Folk reboot.
Yes. Let's
Also,
do a talk on that.
I think we should. I'm going to watch it with my boyfriend when he gets back. He's in Florida with his family now. So as soon as he gets back,
I'll be watching it on the bus this Saturday.
Okay, get on the bus. Alan
Get on the
said,
bus.
that's a movie. That's a movie. Alan also says, I was told the same when he was doing theater, that being gay was a detriment. As he says, as if no gays were on Broadway. And I said, Broadway
Thank you.
is full of them. I know plenty of gay men on Broadway. So then Calidad says, thank goodness for the gay pride movement. Helped me stop feeling defective. Wow. That
Wow.
really just touched me and really hit home for me, because I feel like I've gotten a sense of community and a sense of a pride in myself just by going to these and connecting with people at these pride functions. So I agree with you. Alan said, "Am I recording with Jack anytime soon?" And I said, "Hopefully so." And Daddy says,
Oh,
"I hope so."
we
I
had
mean,
him on the show. We had him on the show
did.
here recently. Yeah.
And we've reached out to each other, and we just need to connect. And then Daddy says his first Pride Fest was this past Saturday. There were
Oh,
so many young
congratulations,
people there.
Daddy.
Yes, congratulations. And
Tell us the city again, Daddy.
he was being himself, and it did it so good. What city are you at in Daddy? I like calling people Daddy, I guess.
What city in, Daddy? I know he's told us before, and I want
Yeah.
to say LA, but I might be wrong. Alan W. also said Trixie Mattel played Asbury Pride. Okay, now.
I'm upset we
Yeah.
missed it.
There's so many performers happening everywhere. It's kind of crazy. While we wait for that, we're just going to put
Especially
this in the
better than
mix.
Azalea Banks.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we got to get to this last topic real quick. It's straight up gay porn. It looks like we got an answer, Cody. Read that.
Schuylkill Fairground in Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice.
It's near Philly. I was actually in that area, and I probably should have went, but I was with my mom for her birthday.
Well, it's time to end the show like we always end it every week by straight up gay porn, where they ask the question, who took the thirstiest best picture in gay porn news? And we are at the halfway mark, y'all. It's the halfway mark for Thirst Trap winners. So these are winners that have won throughout the last 6 months of 2022 by straight up gay porn, people that you and others have voted for. And they'll do another 6-month mark at the end of the year, and then they'll take this group and the next group, and then we'll vote for them at the end of the year towards New Year's. Well, so keep in mind that this list of, and I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com because we want you to vote, but our job is to vividly describe in an auditorial way why we picked the one we wanted to, so you can hear our description of it. Cody, who did you pick this week and why?
First, all of these pictures are fire. It was hard.
Well, it's the creme de la creme.
It's the creme de la creme, and it was hard to pick, and I got hard picking. So that should tell you something. But my vote this week goes to Austin Wilde, mainly huge crush on him for a very long time, but also because I took a picture like this for Joe recently. But it's just for Joe. He's in the shower, and I love a good shower moment. He's all lathered up, cascading down. The first thing you see is that thick, juicy cock, and then you see his smirk, and all I can hear is him saying, "Do you want to come help me get a little clean so we can get a little bit dirty after this?" So I am in love with this picture, and he's my pick of the week. How about you?
Mine goes to Diego Daniels. It was really hard to pick any of these, partly because his body is sculpted in a way that I just love. He's got this perfectly hairy chest that he probably manscaped, a little bit of perfect nipples in there. It's just yummy that you just want to suck on his beautiful nipples. Ooh. But he has something that the lead character in Fire Island had. A tattoo on his trap, which I think I want to do. The same, it's a different script. It's all handwritten script on there. I think it says, let me zero in, believe in me as I believe in you is what it says. Okay, now
that's a song lyric. I've heard that before.
Yeah, and isn't that a great area on the trap to have the lead character? We talked about him on this week's show. Lead character of Fire Island, Asian actor. Anyways, he also, and I got so distracted with his acting because I kept looking at that tattoo. I couldn't read what it said, but it was in that trap area, and I'm thinking I'm gonna write some script on my trapezius after I build him up a little bit more. But aside from that, he's got a beautiful dick. I'm talking about Diego Daniels. That's just yummy and semi-erect with a long flowing ball sack and beautiful hands and veins. I just love it. He's got a come hither look on his face that says, "Come here, Steve V. Come here." And that's why he gets my vote.
Is talking to you? The dick is
He's
talking to you? Oh my goodness.
they're both talking to me. What are the people saying before we end this program?
All right. It says Austin Wilde looks nice and clean and ready to get dirty again. I put that in there. Silas Brooks says, Daddy says Silas Brooks, he looks absolutely delicious. And Josh and remember Lazarado and
Yes.
Josh Moore, I think it is.
I looked them
He
up
said that's
on
his kind of
Twitter.
Burger King. Yes, they are. That's a very sexy picture too.
They're a
And
couple, by the way, those
they
two.
are a couple.
They look a little alike, and it gets a little hard to tell
Really?
at
I don't think they look alike.
times.
I think I
A
have
little
one that I
bit.
prefer more than the
You
other.
know those
I
couples
won't
that
say it.
look kind of twin-like.
Boyfriend twins? Oh yeah, I know.
Like,
I
I'm really
know.
happy, Kodi, that you and Joe do not fit into that twin bill at all. You look nothing alike. First of all, you're not even the same height, and I love that. But I don't know how I always feel about that sometimes. It's not like my favorite thing. Like, I think I would maybe turn somebody down if they look too much in my cocoa skin. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe
I
not.
feel
Maybe
like
not.
this needs to be a vulnerable voices discussion because
Oh, well, yeah, they have the same beard cut and the same hair. It's the same haircut. It's just
Okay.
a little too close for comfort for me.
Okay.
I think there's other ways to do it.
I hear you.
Anyways, tan lines, somebody said,
That says
Alejandro.
Alejandro Pina, and his tan
Ah,
lines are good. So I'm gonna look that up right now.
all right, you guys. This has been so much fun. Oh, we've gone over,
Yeah.
but thank you for playing along. We can't do this without you guys, and it means so much when you join us. We're here every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Join us. You can follow my co-host, Kodi Maurice Doggette. He's a life coach. Follow him at KMD Coaching or at Mr. Maurice for more titty action and some hot shots with his boy. You can follow his OnlyFans. Oops, I'm sorry, he doesn't have one yet.
No, not
yet. Follow us at TAGSPodcast or follow myself at _Steve V. _Steve V. And in the meantime, guys, continue having hot, gay, safe sex. Yes.
No monkeypox. No monkeypox.
No monkeypox, right.